athletes won't be in water, they'll be on water, as they battle each other with paddles in traditional Balinese Yukons.
We had to do a tug-of-war boat challenge.
The stern of the boats were tied together with a rope. The 6 of us got into one boat, the other team got into another boat, facing opposite directions, and we had to row towards a bell that was on a pole, and the first team to ring the bell won the game.
It sounds easy, but besides strength and teamwork, well-made tactical decisions are also of huge importance.
You had slim paddles, you had thick paddles, so the strategy there was, who do you give what paddle? Do you give your not so strong a paddler a thicker paddle, or do you give your strongest paddler a thick paddle? And that made it very interesting.
Today's challenge has some added pressure. It's divided in 2 days, and the team that finishes last on day 1 will not be allowed to compete in the final on day 2.
So, super cool challenge and really hard on the upper body, trying to row against another team.
A great challenge, but some of the teams have some problems of their own, like South Africa, showing up to the start line with only 5 members. UFC rules state that there's no minimum players required at this event, so with Dina being sick, South Africa can still compete with only 5. Unlike previous events, the teams are given a few moments to test their equipment. Out on the water, South Africa can no longer hide the fact that Dina is sick and will not be competing in today's challenge.
Oh, is she?
Yeah.
Dina? Yeah, she's gone back to the hotel.
And learning that South Africa is taking to its Yukon with just 5 members, the Americans decide to play it safe as well.
I was just going to assess my back injury. I don't think I'm going to compete on this one, no. No, I'll take it easy. Try to recuperate for the next one.
In the meantime, Terence is testing some of the equipment. But with the start nearing, it's game on. Time for the event. A 5-member Team USA will take on a resurgent Belgian team that has shown up in full force. Making matters worse for the Americans, Team Belgium also have a few very experienced rowers aboard.
Our tactic was, when they hear the whistle, go a few times, like 5 times, hop, hop, and if you get a little, the push to go, and then all together.
Let's see how this tactical approach will play out. Team USA also depend on a well-chosen strategy.
We had a system just to drive and be on the same page as far as rowing, so we'd be row, full force ahead. And once we got close, we used our front member, Kim, who could kind of gauge and guide on her own self to say, okay, I can touch that bell, and she ran up to the front and jumped and swung to tap the bell.
Even one athlete down, the Americans' explosive strategy pays off and earns them the first win of the day.
We went against Belgium and we ended up beating them. And so I was pumped. I was jacked up. That's awesome. We killed these guys.
Next up, Canada versus Australia.
Being Australian, but we've also got some rowers in our team. I row, Robin's a rower, and also Vicky is a surf boat rower. Although we're used to facing backwards and rowing, the key factor was still there that everyone had to be in timing.
And they're off. But even a world of experience in the water never prepares you for the unexpected.
I was probably half a dozen strokes in and all of a sudden, snap, I had 2 pieces. Fortunately, someone was a quick thinker in there, and Nikki, my wife, was in front of me and she's passed her all back, so I've been able to get back in the game.
And with their paddle snapped in 2, the Australians have no chance to hold off their closest rivals in the water.
I want to win fair, and I thought being down a paddle was garbage.
It's a bit hard to paddle up the creek without a paddle, as they say, but yeah, them's the breaks. Can't blame the equipment. We just didn't get off to a good start in the first place. At least the broken oar's gone now. We can have a fresh one.
Next up, it's the grudge match between our ranked 1 and 2 teams, South Africa and the USA. Smelling a possible victory against an understrength South African team, Rodney decides to push aside the back pain and join his team in the boat, giving the Americans 1 man up.
Here we go again. We've got rank 1 against rank 2 South Africa, though. This time have 1 person less. They've lost a young lady down to illness. Now, can they still win this next one and make it a clean sweeping game so far? Or will the USA find this weakness and finally find a way of beating this South African team?
Terence of South Africa verbally takes the lead and makes sure there's a high tempo. Team USA, on the other hand, just seem to be making the best of it. "30 seconds in, one member down, the powerful Team South Africa's focus and resolve